Hello everyone, this is Kiran Kumar and today I am going to conduct an online session on the module 5, that is failure analysis and laminates. Okay, so before getting to this failure analysis, we will first delve into the laminates and what I mean by laminates that you are already familiar, and for the composites there are some specific naming that we are going to assign for different types of lamina orientations. Okay, so all these things that we'll deal first, and later on we will move on to the failure analysis. If I go for the contents in your syllabus, so it is mentioned like the types of laminates. Okay, so in that the examples like symmetric laminates, cross play laminates, angle play laminates, anti-symmetric laminates, balanced laminates. Okay, so these are all the variety of conditions where lamina orientations will inversely affects the properties of the particular lamina. Okay, that's why we need to study all these things. And later on, the next question is the next content is failure criterion of the laminates. Okay, so when the load is applied, which are all the failure consideration steps that which is going to develop in the laminate, that we are going to see in the second thing. And the last one is the design of the laminated composites, which is nothing but the various procedures that we are going to follow, design procedures, when you are going to go for a laminated composites. Okay, all these things that we are going to study in this unit. In that, the first one we are going to study is the laminar codes. Okay, so the specific codes that we are going to assign for the laminates. So that we are going to see right now. Okay, and before going to that, yeah, I hope everyone are aware of the main difference between a lamina and laminates. Okay, so the uh, lamina is nothing but a single layer. Okay, as you see, this is what we call it as single layer of a composites. Laminate is a bunch of layers that are stick together. Okay, and it forms certain thickness. So that is what the difference between the lamina, okay, and laminate. So these, I hope everyone are aware. This is lamina, and this is laminate. So this is the difference between these two. Now we will look into the laminate things. So where is lamina together, that we can call it as laminate. Okay. So in the lamina, you might have seen the behavior of the orientation of the fibers. So the fibers are usually oriented in some specific direction. Okay. So that direction is usually given in terms of the angle. Say for example, if I take this as x-axis, if I take this as a y-axis, and the fibers orientation is right now, I'm going to call it as 0 degree, because the fibers are aligned properly in one of the direction coordinate system. Okay, that's why the angle of the lamina, I can call that as a 60 degree. Say suppose if I consider another lamina which is having the fibers orientation with certain inclination, and if I take that lamina in a coordinate system, okay, it may be x or y, or it may be any other coordinate naming. So right now, if I go specifically, the lamina is oriented at an angle theta. So if they say that the angle theta is say 45 degree, then I can say that the lamina having the orientation of 45 degree. Okay, so in case of the manufacturing process, usually these laminas are added together in a different orientations like 0 degree, 45 degree, 90 degree, 30 degree. And if it is, maybe we can call that as in terms of negative values of the angle. Okay, so such things is usually having a much effect over uh, the properties of the laminates. Okay, that's why we need to study all these things, and it is having some specific codes. Okay, so all this that we'll look it in the Next slide. Yeah. Here, the exact picture of the laminate which is provided with the different types of laminas, different types of lamina. Say the global axis that we have chosen in this way, X, Y, Z. In this case, if you preferably observe the top layer which is having the fiber orientation with respect to x-axis, okay, it is having an angle theta. Okay, so that I can call the top layer which is having the inclination of angle theta. Okay, like that I can say that. And in the next case, uh, the same thing in the that is here. This first figure is in the isometric view, and the second figure it is in the the front view. You can call that as a front view. So usually, whenever we want to assign its thickness, we preferably look for mid plane. Okay, so right now mid plane is which is situated here, and the usually the naming which is laminate naming or the angle which is usually given from the top layer. Say here the first layer which is having 0 degree. The meaning is which is having zero inclination with the x-axis. Okay. If I go for the axis, so if this is the x-axis, so the top layer which is having the inclination of 0 degree, and the second layer which is having the inclination of 90 degree, and for the third layer which is of minus 45 degree, next plus 45 degree. Okay, like that the angle orientation are named in this way. Okay, next we will go through the several codes. Okay, the specific codes for each type of this. Here are some example. Okay, the first one here, if you observe the first lamina. Okay, so this is the lamina like this. This is the second lamina, third lamina, fourth lamina, and fifth lamina. There are 5 laminas are there. So as I said, here we don't have any mid plane. Okay, so uh, yeah, 90 is the mid plane. 90 degree is the mid plane lamina. And if I go for the chord, okay, the chord is nothing but the representation of the angles in a specific way. Okay, so the way to represent the angle usually called as laminate chords. So how to write down this? This is only very simple, where we have to define the angles of the lamina. That's it, which is move from top layer to the bottom layer. Okay, so that is the way that we should adopt. Here 0 degree is there, so that's why I have put 0 slash. The second one is minus 45 degree, so minus 45 degree, and the third one is 90. Fourth one is 60, and the next one is 30. Okay, like this. This is one way of representation, laminate codes. So you might have seen in the second case, when we have two laminas which is having same angle of fibers, then that is the case. Sometimes the users are going with the code in this format. Okay, 0 slash minus 45 degree. It starts from the top layer, and next they have represented 90, the first, the third lamina, and the fourth lamina. Since it is also having the same inclination of the fiber, they have specifically go for 2. The 2 represents we are having simultaneously uh, 2 plates or 2 laminas which is having an inclination of 90, and the last but one is 60, and later on 0 degree. Okay, so you might have got the meaning of 90 subscript 2. Okay, so this is the second case that you may go for, and we may have the cases like symmetric laminas that are add up together. Okay, so this is this code that represents the symmetric laminate codes, and here we are going to show the particular lamina behavior. And if you just observe, we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 laminas, and the midplane is here itself. And while representing the symmetric laminae code, preferably we will move from a top layer. Okay, so first one is 0, second one is minus 45, third one is 60. But later on, if you observe about the midplane, the bottom layers is also having the same angle of inclination, that is symmetrical. The first one is 60, means from the midplane when you go outward, uh, first one is 60, second one is minus 45, and the third one is 0 degree. Okay, so in this way, so it is symmetrical about the midplane. That's why, so when I represent only top layer angles, I will go for the subscript to the whole matrix. Okay, so that it forms the, it represents the symmetric laminate. Okay, and the last way, which is you may see different from the previous laminate codes, is this one, where 0, minus 45, 60, minus 45, 0. So number of layers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 layers are there. So, and about the 60-degree lamina, here we don't have any midplane because 5 layers are there. Midplane is nothing but this lamina itself, that is 60-degree lamina, and therefore sometimes they will go for specifically a bar over the particular lamina. So 0, minus 45, 60, and later on it is same as that of the previous top layers. Okay, that's why 60 they are represented with this underscore and superscript, symmetric symbol. Okay, so this is the way that we should adopt whenever we go for the laminate codes. I hope you people are aware of these things. Okay, by considering all these, let us have a look into the other factors that is a little bit important in this case. So, when you consider a lamina, and these things, this is only for your interest sake, there are few equations that will come in the syllabus. So, in order to understand that equations, I'm going to tell you some basics related to that. So, if I take one of the lamina in this way, so if I take this lamina, so it is subjected to this possibility of apply the load like a, a axial load and also the moment. Okay. So usually the lamina, if I take, it is having the property of applying both loads P and M. So then the load may be added together. Okay. This is the more practical considerations. So when a lamina is subjected to the load like this, the strains that may develop because of the axial load, that is P, and the strains or the curvature because of the moment. So this is the general equation that is caused when you apply both loads. Okay, so when you apply both of these loads, so usually the strain, that overall strain will be can be calculated is by using this equation. So the only thing you need to understand is this is because of the load P, and this factor is because of the bending moment M. Okay. So after this, this is the generalized case, okay, where only the load is applied in its direction. That's it. But in regular case, if I take for a two-dimensional plate, it is subjected to two axial forces. Okay, and in composites, those axial forces are usually denoted by Nx, Ny, and the shearing force as NXY or NYX, both are equal. So totally three forces that will that is shear forces and two tensile or compressive forces that is being can be applied to a single lamina. And similarly, if I go for the moment case, here also uh, three moments that can be applied. One is the moment about x, moment about y, and mxy and myx. Okay, these are all three forces, three moments that we can apply to a lamina. Okay, so whenever we want to develop some equations, we usually adopt three forces like nx, ny, and mxy, mx, my, and mxy. Okay, so this is the thing. And the next one thing is, so when I apply these forces together, forces and moments together, usually the strains that is developed will be can be represented in this matrix form. Epsilon x is equal to epsilon x naught plus z is the curvature multiplied by this radius of curvature kx. Okay, so as usual, this is the strain because of the applied load P. So in this case, instead of P, you can call that as Nx, Ny, and Nxy. Okay, and these things are developed because of Mx, My, and Mxy. Okay, so like that, the overall strain will be summation of these two factors. That's it. Okay, and usually the strains is not our important criteria. We are always interested in the stresses developed by the lamina. So if you want to calculate the laminate stresses, it can be denoted by this equation, and you are familiar with this. Uh, so where I am going to I should substitute this epsilon strains into this matrix. If I substitute that, that gives you the epsilon x, epsilon y, tau xy. And later on, so these are all the forces, right? Mx, Ny, and Nxy are the forces, and Mx, My, Mxy are the moments. So if you want to find out how much force that I should apply to a lamina, then what I should do is I have to integrate by. Okay, that is by using your simple the stress equation. So if I go for small amount of force, dF is equal to sigma into dA. And if I want to know the forces, what I should do? I have to integrate that, right? Integrate the stresses. Okay. So the same thing I should do here also. So these are all the stresses. So if I want to find out the forces, what I should do? I have to integrate the stresses in terms of uh, area. So if I take one of the thing as unity, then it becomes dz. That's it. In the same way, the same thing can be applied for the moments also. Okay, so if I do the moment, I should integrate that one. So we have rated that separately. That's it. So if I did these two operations, that is integrations, finally the forces are developed or written in this format, in this matrix format, and moments are represented in this format. Okay. So what you should understand from this is, so as I said, this factor Nx and Ny are the forces uh, generated. It may be because of the normal strains and the strains due to bending moment. Okay. Similarly, the moments are developed maybe because of the normal strains and moment strains. Okay. So that is what the overall meaning of this equation. Okay. And no need to remember all these things. This is for your understanding purpose only. Okay. Now, by taking my interested equation, that is these two only. Okay. Let us look into the next The next part that is the laminate codes, special laminate codes and its behavior. Okay, the laminates can be classified as symmetric, antisymmetric, and quasi-isotropic laminates and unsymmetric laminates. Okay, in your syllabus, we are having the symmetric laminates, and as I said in the previous theory, the symmetric laminates are based about the mid plane. Okay, if the lamina orientation, material, and its thickness is same above and below the mid plane, then we can call that as a symmetric plane. Okay, so the example is 0, 30, 60 degrees. So if you want to write that, so first is 0, next it is first is 0, next is 30, after that 60, okay, after that again 60, after that 30, then it is 0. Okay, so like this the laminate coding will be represented. Okay, there will totally 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 6 laminas are there. Okay, that I can represent in this way. Okay, later on what's going to happen in case of symmetric laminates. Okay, so in symmetric laminates if I go for the consideration of the forces, the force Nx, Ny, Nxy are much only depends on the normal strains. Okay, so this is the normal strain. So it depends on the normal strain itself, and it doesn't having any implications from it doesn't having any implications from the what we call the moment strains. Okay, in the same way, when you have symmetric laminates, the bending moments are much depends on the strains due to the moment only. Strains due to moment. Okay, but it doesn't having any effect of uh, what you call the tensile or Nx, Ny loads. Okay, these strains it doesn't having the effect of epsilon x naught, epsilon y, and gamma x y naught. Okay, that is what the meaning when you go for the symmetric laminates. And this is what the theory which is represented here. And the next one that we are going to deal is the balanced laminates. So in the balanced laminates, the lamina consisting of the pairs of the laminas in which they have arranged in such a way that they are identical, and the angle of inclination is plus theta and minus theta, means about its axis the angles are being changed. If I take this figure itself, if I am going to draw the axis, laminate axis, about this mid plane, so the angles are keep on changing. Here, if I go up in upward direction, minus 30, 40, 30. But if I come to downward, plus 30, minus 30, and minus 40. Okay. So like this, the angles are being changed. Okay, and angle convections, sign conventions are being changed, irrespective of what you call the angle value, magnitude. The angle sign conventions are changed. Okay, so that you should observe. For these types of laminates, what is going to happen is the strength that is depending on or the terms that is depending on the shear strengths are 0. Okay, so if I take nx, nx is only depends on the normal strengths epsilon x and epsilon y, but it doesn't having any effect of shearing strength. In the same way, ny is also depends on epsilon x and epsilon y, but it doesn't having the effect of shear strength. In addition to, we don't have any the moment strength. Okay, that will be 0. But in the same way, when you consider the moments mx, my, mxy, so here also the shearing moment having zero effect on the x direction moment and y direction moment. Okay, along with the case where we don't have any effect of normal strains. Okay, so that is what the meaning of balanced laminates. In balanced laminate, there may be a possibility of having the symmetric laminate, anti-symmetric laminate, and asymmetric laminates. Okay, so these are all the possibilities that may come under balanced laminates. Okay, and the next one is anti-symmetric laminates. Okay, so the anti-symmetric laminate is a laminate in which is against to the symmetric laminate. Okay, so if I go for this figure, so about this figure, the midplane comes here itself. So if I call this as x, so by using symmetric conditions, the angle should be, sorry, the sign convention of the angle should be same when you go for the top layers and the bottom layers, but the angles are changed. Okay, since angles are changed, sorry, angle sign conventions are changed. Since angle sign conventions are changed, then we are going to call it as anti-symmetric laminate. Otherwise, we can call that as a symmetric laminate. Okay. So here, in this case, the normal forces Nx, Ny, Nxy are dependent on all other factors except shearing strain. Okay, except shearing strain, all these normal forces are depends on uh, the effect of normal strain and the strain due to the moments. Okay, in the same way, the mx, my, mxy are much dependent on the normal strains as well as uh, the strain due to the moment, except the radius of curvature of the what we call moments. Okay, that is about the behavior of antisymmetric laminates. Okay, now we will go through the next part, that is the failure criterion of the laminates. Okay, that can be explained by this figure. And before getting to that, let us look into the factors that affect the laminates. Usually, as you seen from the previous chapter, the lamina will fail because of the what we call the matrix failure. Okay, and later on it connects to the fiber failure. Okay, the failure criteria that may arise as by using that can be understood in this way. So if the fibers are arranged in this manner, so usually the failure that occurs in such a way that the failure is almost parallel to the fiber orientation, so that later on the matrix is going to fail, just like a crack which is parallel to the fibers. Okay, this is how the failure criterion of the laminates will arise as. Okay, now to understand this, uh, uh, we have to find out how these fail and all the considerations. We should go through this flow chart. So usually when we design a laminate, it is having the input parameters like loads and material properties and all these things. Where loads are can be assumed initially. So once the loads is nothing but the things that I said previously, that is load in x direction, y direction, and in xy in shear force too. And later on the moment loads as mx, my as well as mxy. So these are all the loads. And coming to the material properties are nothing but the transverse length modulus, the longitudinal length modulus, the shear modulus, inclined shear modulus, okay, the strength factors, all these things comes under the material properties. Okay, so once we gathered all these informations by using the ABD matrix. Okay, so the matrix that we have seen previously, which relates the local strains with the There's forces A, B, D matrix as well as B, D. Okay. So these matrices we should calculate. So that is what which is given. So which indirectly gives you the stiffness behavior of the particular laminate. So once we calculated the laminate stiffness characteristics, I can go for, so these are depends on the loads parameters as N and M. I can calculate the strains here. Okay, so from this previous figure, so I can calculate the strain epsilon and K factor. So since we know well aware of N and M and ABD matrix. So once we calculated the strains, I can go for the stresses, calculation of the stresses. It is sigma x, sigma y, sigma x, sigma y, and tau xy. That is related by the reduced stiffness matrix Q to the strains. Reduced stiffness matrix to the strains. Okay. Once we calculated these two stress factors, I can go for the failure criterion, and you people are familiar that the maximum stress theory, maximum strain theory, Sahel theory, all the theories that we can apply in order to get whether the material is going to fail or not. Okay, if lamina is failed with the test, then we should redesign by going through the degradation of the lamina. The meaning is the thickness is not sufficient to take such loads. Okay, in such cases, either we can increase the thickness or change the material properties. All these things that we can do in the second step itself. Okay, so if no failure occurs, then we can go for increasing the load. That is these factors Nx, Ny, Nxy, and moments. Okay, and again go for checking the respective considerations, calculations, and stresses. Okay, once it is failed, again we can go for redesigning the particular laminate if required. Okay, so this is the regular steps that we adopt when we go for the failure criterion of the laminates. Okay, next we will see into the next concept, that is the design of a laminated structure. Okay, since a composite lamina which is having the infrared position, the design of laminata is also having so many iterative processes. Okay, as we see the selection of the material from where the selection of the fiber matrix having varieties, as well as the thickness that we should use, and the amount of applied load, and the constraining factors like the mass factors, okay, and the cost factors which is issued in the case of the aerospace and automotive industry. Okay, by considering all these factors, we should go for the design of a laminated structure. Okay, so the first case that we'll adopt is the width fiber as well as the width matrix that we should use in case of a lamina, and the amount of fiber volume fraction that we should adopt since that depends so many the properties of the lamina, and also the lamina can be placed at different angles, orientations. Okay, so the orientations, as seen from the previous the theory, the orientations will also affect the amount of load that it is going to carry about the mid plane. Okay, all these factors that we should consider for the next case. And in addition to that, the material stacking sequence, that is the angle stacking sequence, as well as the dependency of these sequence over the stresses and strains that we should calculate. And the failure theory we should adopt, we should apply about composites, whether it is going to fail or not. Once you finalize these things, the usually the failure theory that can be applied like the failure of the first play itself, as well as the failure of the last play. Play is nothing but the laminate. Okay, and the next step that we should consider is uh, the selection of the many possibilities. Okay, like fiber matrix combinations, material systems, and stacking sequence. By considering all this, we are going to design a laminate structure. Okay, and once we finalize these sequences, we can go for designing along with the basic equations of the laminas. Okay, like the calculation of elastic modulus, calculation of the properties like sigma c, sigma 2c, all these things that we are going to finalized. Okay, based on which fiber, which matrix, what is the thickness, all these considerations that we are going to use, and we are going to develop the laminate. Okay, so this is the overall design procedure that we are going to adopt in case of the laminate structure. Okay, I hope all these things you people are understood, and this completes the module 5. Okay. Uh, Thank you everyone for your patience listening.